Hello, so today I thought I would give you the signs, and maybe I've done this before or kind of when we've done like sickness, but I thought it'd be more clear today because it is springtime. Now, you can do springtime, but it's not exactly an exact time on a clock, right? So you can say springtime, which is era. This is a T or era. That is more conceptually correct, but I usually see springtime. And that's just easier, and it's just, I don't know. And it doesn't matter as long as the deaf do that. We're not teaching them that, but if they do that, but conceptually it's springtime because it's era. But you'll probably see springtime. So springtime brings us allergies. Now, this is the sign for allergy. With the hand that you write with, you touch your nose, and the other one's kind of down here, right? It's going to do the exact same thing. You know that it's ASL if the hand that you do not write with, or your non-dominant hand, doesn't do anything or the same thing. So in this instant, it's going to do the same thing. So allergies. So it's almost like a check mark, but it's not really. But I think it's just my style. So you touch your nose and then you go away from each other. It's the opposite, right? So allergies. That's a sign for allergy of any type of allergy, of allergies. And you use this sign opposite, or it goes away from when you do enemy, because you're trying to get away from it, allergies. So because of the springtime, and I'm going to do, I think I see this one more than this. So usually you sign what you're familiar with, but play with both of them and don't discount either one. So many people that I work with are experiencing allergies. One person, their allergies is the eyes are kind of puffy. See? These are gestures or classifiers. And so you just have this where it's kind of a flat O, and then it goes out because it's swollen, right? Swollen. And the throat. And I would do that. You don't have to make a sound with it, because when you're talking with deaf people, a lot of them don't make sounds, but some of them do. But you could just go, right? And so they know that look because they felt it. They may not hear it, but they feel it. So, and then the second one, the allergies, coughing. And another allergy symptom that they've experienced, symptom with an S, this is your backboard, so to speak, and symptoms, like signs, symptoms, it's the same. Sign and symptom, example, show, it's the same concept. Their eyes tearing up, so a little tear will go down. And I usually don't go up to my eye because of my glasses, so that's why I start down here. If I had before when I had glasses that were smaller, I would go it's further up to my glasses, and then before I wore glasses, I could go all the way up to my ear duct, or my ear duct, my tear duct. Oh my goodness, because I'm fixing to do my allergy symptom, and that way you'll know why I'm just not here. Okay, so and then another allergy symptom that I have been experiencing is a headache, and we've done headache. This is pain. So the hands is the one hand shape, and they do exactly the same thing, and they twist. Now some people just do this, and I've seen that, but when I learned it, it was mostly the twisting, and I like the twisting because pain is painful. It twists, it hurts. And I see that with older ones. Some depends on where they were educated, and it's normally probably a mainstream school. They do pain, and sometimes they show that in books. But it's really pain, it twists. I like this one because I think it's more accurate. So a headache, and then under my eyes hurt. So I could do this, and that's accurate as well. Or I could say my eyes hurt. And you can even do eye hurt, but they may think, oh, just the right eye. So you can say, oh, my eyes hurt. Or you could do, oh, they hurt. hurt. So just and these are your sinuses. Now, sinuses is a category just like jewelry. And so you have to do, I would spell it for sinuses. So sinus. But if they don't know the spelling of sinus, then you go, oh, here, because your sinuses are here and here, right? So that's, people understand that you don't have to do all your areas because you have sinuses right here. That's why they check to see if your throat is swollen or whatever. So you do have that. But it's mostly here and here. So you can say, oh, here, here, sinus. So you want it to be clear. And pain. And you can, for pain, you don't have to say pain. It's here. You would do, oh, I have pain here, or I have pain here, pain here, pain here, pain here, right? So, like, I've had a doctor ask a patient, where is your pain? And I have done pain where? And sometimes there have been a few that I don't know why they didn't get it. I don't know if I can't remember if they were just a lower understanding, or they go, yeah, I have pain, and it's like, no, I need to know like where. And so sometimes on those same patients, when I would interpret for them, I go, oh, do you feel pain? And so I'm not really trying to lead them per se. Like if a doctor, like if you go into the doctor says, do you have pain in your chest? And they go, yeah. If they're just drug seeking or something like that. So sometimes you just have to help if someone is a lower understanding. You have pain here, where? Here on your knee, because there will be in person, they could see it. If you were on a camera, then you would probably have to move backwards so they could see that body part. But so you're not really leading the patient or leading that person to say, yeah, like children, like if they don't want to go to school, they go, I hurt. Well, do you hurt in your back or your stomach? And they go, yeah. So they get to stay home, right? So you don't really want to lead someone in there, but you could give them several choices for pain. And so if it's, they go, oh, throat, oh, then it's allergies probably. Allergies. Or the sign for cold is cold. It's the sign if you were feeling cold. That is a sign for a cold. So some of those things that you may think, oh, they shouldn't be going together, but sometimes they do, right? Just like orange, that's the color and the fruit. Cold is whatever way that you would use cold, you would use cold that same way. Now the flu, you would spell flu, and if they didn't know, I've never had a patient that didn't know what the flu was when I spelt it, because I already had experiencing all these symptoms. Then you would go through, a virus or whatever, even if you wanted to start with someone, like if it was a child, you could say, oh, cold worse, or bad cold, or whatever. When COVID hit, people say, oh, it's just a really bad flu, or they would say bad flu, but it was different, right? It was a virus. And this was the sign that was developed because that's what it looked like, and that's how it was developed in the deaf community. And so this is the sign for COVID. So, you can start out with some basics and then kind of work yourself up and increase it. And then the way that person signs or what they did for a living. Like I had this elderly man in his 80s that I was interpreting for. And then when I found out that he had been a teacher of the deaf at the deaf school and out of state, then I'm going, well, he's highly educated and he's going to understand what I'm saying. And he did. Anything that I said, I didn't have to worry. Just because he was elderly and shaking or whatever doesn't mean he didn't understand. And he did. And so, you just have to kind of see where people are at. Where's their level of understanding? Just like with anybody that you would meet on the street, if they were hearing. So anyway, I didn't want to go on and on, but I did want to do sinus because this is springtime and spring causes sinus or allergy problems, right? So you could say, oh, I have a sinus problems. Oh, allergies. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Pollen. See, I would spell it. Pollen spreads, from flowers, right? Or trees when they start blooming. See, isn't that just so much fun when you can play with this language and see it? You see this language when they bloom, when the trees bloom. Like I've had allergies against pecans. And I love, not love, kiss fist. Means to love something that's inanimate and love something that is an animal or a person. But if it's an inanimate object, you can love. I love pecans. You get that nut underneath your teeth, which is the real sign. But nobody does that. And with women, you don't want to ruin your lipstick. So anyway, but it is that the thumb. So make sure you're still doing that gesture toward that your mouth. So that's nuts in general. You could say peanut butter. But pecan, and you might want to say a pecan because it's nut. That's nuts because of the shell. So anyway, so people have different allergens. You don't even have to say against because you've already said something this is opposite, right? An allergy with nuts. And if you want to be specific which nuts, like a peanut or a pecan or whatever, or I don't think I'm allergic to the nut itself, but the tree, my eyes would swell up and my cheeks would swell up and I have this horrible headache and my nose was stopped up and it was just hard to breathe. And my doctor told me it was the pecan trees in my backyard. And my neighbor, she had 4. I had 2. So anyway, allergy city. Anyway, so play around with this type of what you'll see this season is allergies. And how would you show it? And, sneezing, right? And coughing, right? So those are kind of the fun things that people already know. Deaf people, you don't have to have a sound with it, but if you want to practice making the sound, and then start practicing without the sound, and it's as long as you're doing the same body language, right? You can be in a crowded place and nobody they're not hearing it. They're going, man, I just hear these sounds from this person. So it's just practice and play with it. And I'll see you later. Bye.